So come to a comfortable seat. And we'll begin to connect to the breath. Letting the breath come first through the belly, and then exhaling out the belly last. And then we'll inhale and lift the arms just halfway to a T. And on an exhale, we'll twist to the right and take the left hand over to the right shoulder as we look over the right shoulder. Then inhale, we'll come back to center. And exhale, over twisting to the left, letting the right arm come to the left shoulder. And then we'll do that a couple more times. On our inhale, we come forward. Our exhale, we twist right, tap right shoulder, look right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale to center. And one more time like this, exhaling, twisting to the right. Inhale to center. And exhale to the left. And inhale, come back to center. And next, we're going to do very similar, except as we twist, we're going to tap that right shoulder, but turn the head to the left. And then inhale to center. Exhale, twist left, turn the head to the right. Inhale back forward. Exhale, twist right, look left. Still tapping that right shoulder with the left hand. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn left, look right. Back to center. And one more like that. Exhale, twist right, turn head left. Inhale, center. And exhale, twist left, look right. And then come back to center and let your hands float down. A little brain nourishing and shoulder strengthening activity. And then we'll make our way onto all fours into our tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. I begin a little cat-cow flow. So inhale, drop the belly, look forward, draw the shoulder blades together. Exhale, round through the spine, really dropping the head, pressing down into the feet and the hands. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, round through. And one more time, we'll inhale, look forward, drawing the shoulder blades together. And exhale, round through the spine, dropping the head, pressing the tops of the feet down into the knuckles, pressing down into the knuckles. Give it one really good arch here, really rounding through the upper back. And then we'll come back to center. And then we'll drop the belly one more time and look forward. And then really focus on drawing the shoulder blades together, tipping those sit bones up, pointing them up to the sky, and rotating the elbows so the elbow creases are pointing towards your index finger. And then we'll come back to tabletop and find a flat back position, flat neck. So tuck the chin just slightly so that it's an extension of the spine. And then lift the right hand and reach the right hand forward as we lift up the left foot and draw the left toes down, pointing them down towards the ground and pressing through that left heel, reaching actively through the heel and actively through the right toes. And then we'll come back to center, bring everything back down. And take a breath here, hugging in a little bit through the abs to lengthen through the low back. And then on your next inhale, we'll lift the left hand and reach the left hand forward and the right foot back. Dialing those right toes down, pressing actively through the right heel, hugging in through the abs, making sure the neck is still long. And then exhale, we'll bring everything back down. And then one more time, lift the right arm and left leg, pointing those left toes down, lifting up out of the left shoulder, and then come back down. And then lift the left hand and the right leg. And again, pressing down into the index finger and the thumb so that we can lift energetically up off of that right shoulder. So we're not sinking down in with the shoulder blades. And then come back to center. And then take the knees out wide, toes to touch, and we'll sink the hips back to the heels into our extended child's pose, allowing the head to drop down to the mat, the hands reaching forward. And then we'll reach the hands very firmly forward and come up onto the fingertips. So we keep the head down. And we'll take a couple of breaths here with the palms lifted but the fingertips pressing down. Starting to begin to get into a little shoulder stretch, warm up through the shoulders as we warm up also through the hips here. And we'll take one more breath like this. And then we'll let the palms come back down and walk the hands off the right side of the mat. And then let the head drop again. Pressing the hips down towards the heels, feeling that stretch all along the left side. Actively reaching through that left palm. Maybe place it on top of your right hand, or just reach it out to the side. And then walk the fingertips back to center. And exhale, we'll take them over towards the left, taking them off the edge of the mat and pressing the hips down, especially that right hip, reaching the right hip down towards the right heel. And taking the right hand on top of the left hand. We're just reaching it out firmly towards that left side, feeling that stretch all along the right side, through the right hip, all the way up the right side, into the armpit and out the fingertips. And drop the head, let it be heavy. Then we'll walk the fingertips back to center and press ourselves back up onto all fours. And we'll bring the knees in, curl the toes under, and lift up the hips up high into our downward facing dog. We'll pedal through the heels here, dropping one heel and then the other. As we lift the hips. You can begin to start to twist through the hips as you drop one heel and look under the armpit. And then drop the other heel and look up under the armpit. Starting to work into the hips and the side body. As we warm up through the feet, calves, and open up through the shoulders. Then we'll come to stillness for a moment in our down dog and take the feet out wide. And then really sink the chest down towards the knees. Rotating the shoulders outward again so the elbow creases are pointing towards the index fingers and really firming up through the abs to really lift up through the hips and drop the heels. And drop the head, shake it out a little, make sure we're not holding tension in the neck or head. And then we'll walk the feet up to meet the hands. And hang in our forward fold. Keeping the knees bent a little bit here. You can take whatever movement here feels good. You can grasp opposite elbows. Or you can place your hands, interlace your hands and place them behind your head. If you're noticing a lot of neck tension, placing the hands right at the hairline can really help release neck tension grasping opposite elbows. It really helps with the shoulders and that space between the shoulder blades. And then inhale, we'll lift all the way up, reaching up towards the sky, long through the front of the legs, long through the belly, looking up slightly. And then exhale down to mountain pose, letting the hands float down to the side. We'll take a moment to feel the feet where they make connection with the earth, the ground, with the mat, whatever surface you're on right now. Finding the weight of your feet, noticing if they are forward or backward or left to right, and dialing the inner thighs towards each other. And really firming up through the knees, toning through the quads. And then we'll inhale and lift the arms, reach them up over the head and clasp the palms together. And inhale, lift up through the front body, drop the shoulders down away from the ears. And exhale, we'll tip over towards the right side. Breathing into the left side body, drawing the elbows back a little towards the ears. And noticing how that affects the shoulder stretch, the arms. Noticing what happens as you work to get the arms back a little bit in space without drawing the neck forward. And inhale, come back to center. And exhale, we'll tip over towards the left. Pressing down firmly into the right heel. And working to keep the face forward and in line with the spine. And then drawing the elbows back just a little bit. Stretching through the whole arm on the right side, feeling into that underside of that right arm. And then inhaling back up to center. And exhale, we'll float all the way down back to our forward fold. We'll take a breath here. And then on an inhale, we'll lift up through the right arm and look up to the right. And then exhale, lower. And inhale, look to the left, look up, twist up, lift the left hand, look up towards the left hand. And then exhale, we'll lower back down. Inhale, halfway lift, bringing the hands up to the thighs, hugging the elbows into the side. Long through the neck. And then take a look at your toes from here and make sure that they are pointed at like an 11. You're making like an 11 with your feet. So if the toes have started to go out a little or in, get them pointed straight ahead and spread the toes out wide. And then lift the toes slightly and then put the pinky toe down and then the next toe and slowly begin to place each toe back down onto the mat until you have all 10 toes resting on the mat, spread out wide. And then on our exhale, we'll float back down into our forward fold. Plant the palms, take the left foot back, come down to the left knee, flat onto that top of that left foot, and then we'll bring the hands, interlace the fingertips, and place them on top of that right knee, and use that to press us up into our low lunge with the hands on the knee. And we'll draw the right hip back a little and let the left hip fall forward. And lift through the crown of the head, like you can feel a string pulling you out of the top of your head. And then we'll inhale and lift the hands up over the head. And exhale, twist to the right, open the arms up to a T. And then inhale, lift up, reach up straight forward again. And exhale, this time twist to the left and open the hands up to a T. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears, head in line with the spine. And inhale, lift up, reach up. And then exhale, we'll bring the hands back down to frame the right foot. Come up onto the left toes. We'll take the right foot back and lift the hips up high, back to our downward facing dog. Noticing if our down dog is starting to feel a little bit easier, a little bit more open. If we're breathing a little bit more freely. Maybe yes, maybe no. Just observing. And then we'll walk the feet up to meet the hands, this time crisscrossing each foot over to the opposite side of the mat and placing it firmly down all the way, toes to heels, and we find our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, lift up, reach up, long through the front of the legs. Looking back, just baby back bend here. And then exhale, we float all the way back down. Take the right toes back and the left toes back. Hover for just a moment in plank. And then we'll lift the hips up high, back to our downward facing dog. And then we'll come down onto the knees. Come down flat onto the top of the right foot, and we'll bring the left foot to the left knee, or left hand. Coming into our low lunge from a different place this time. And we'll interlace the fingertips, place them on that left knee, and then press up with the torso, dropping the shoulders down and back. Letting the left hip slide backwards and the right hip slide forward, hugging in through the abs. Lifting through the crown of the head. And then inhale, we'll sweep the arms around and up. And then exhale, twist to the left. Look left, arms come down to a T. Inhale, lift up, reach up. And then exhale, we twist to the right, bringing the arms down halfway. Pressing into the heel of that left foot. Inhale, lift up, reach up. And exhale, we'll come back down to frame the left foot. Lift up onto the right toes. Take the left toes back. Lift the hips up high for our downward facing dog. And then we'll ground through the left foot and lift up through the right toes into our three-legged dog. And then bending that right knee, and we'll shift the hips to stack right hip over left hip. Still pressing the chest down towards the knee and working to keep your palms, your weight in your palms even, equal as much as possible. I don't want to shift and rock, and we'll try to come back to a place where we're even on both fingers, both hands. And then we'll bring the right knee back into place, back to our three-legged dog. Then draw the knee into the nose and bring the right foot up to the right hand. And this time we'll stay up on the left toes. Right knee over right ankle, and we'll inhale and lift up into our high lunge. Shifting the right hip back in space, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, firming up through the abs. And then exhale, we come back down, frame that right foot, take the right toes back. And we'll pause for a moment in our plank pose, shoulders over wrists, pressing actively through those heels. And then we'll take the right hand and tap the left shoulder. Ready? Tap the left shoulder. And then take the left hand and tap the right shoulder. And then tap with the right hand and the left hand. And then one more time each time. Right hand, left hand. Then we'll shift the hips. coming forward, shift the toes forward, and then lower all the way down to the belly. Whew. Inhale, lift up into baby cobra. Looking forward, pressing down into the hips. And exhale, we float back down. Tuck the toes under, press up through plank, and then hips up high for our downward facing dog. Now we'll ground into the right foot and then lift up the left toes into our three-legged dog. And then bend that left knee and take it over to the side so that we have our left hip stacked over the right hip. And again, working with the weight on our hands, trying to keep it about equal between the left hand and the right hand as we open up through that left hip, through that left side. And then we'll come back to the three-legged dog, then bring the left knee into the nose and then up to the left hand, up to the left foot, up to left hand. Staying lifted up on those right toes. And we'll inhale and lift up into our high lunge. Shifting the left hip back, letting the right hip fall forward. Taking a breath here. And then we'll exhale, bring the hands back down to frame the left foot. Take the left toes back, and we'll pause in plank, pressing the heels back a little bit, hugging up through the abs. And then lift the hips up high, straight up into our downward facing dog. And we'll take a breath to reset.